Okay, y'all, in this video, we're going to be talking about 10 of my all-time favorite books in 2024. Now, when I say my favorite, I'm not talking about books that just dropped in 2024. I'm talking about the books that I actually read. It doesn't really matter what year it dropped. I just read them this year, and they're in my top 10. I don't even know what day of Vlogmas we're on at this point. But what I do know is I'm out here doing my thing. And that's all that matters. Music. Happy sunrise, fam. If you're new here, welcome to my channel where we talk all things books, spirituality, and honestly anything else that just happens to surface. As most of my subscribers know, I do have ADHD, so it ain't no real niche over here, babe. It's wherever the wind blows me. But if that doesn't bother you, go ahead and pull up a seat and let's go ahead and get into this video. So I don't know if y'all saw in one of my previous vlogs, I did sprain my big toe, y'all. I currently have my little compression sock on and I have it elevated a little bit. So just bear with me if you see me trying to get a little comfy or trying to change angles and things like that. I'm just out here fighting for my life. Retrograde got me in a chokehold. My goal for this year was 80 books and I actually surpassed that. I am currently at 109. Honestly, baby, I don't even know how the hell I read that many books this year. But, you know, ADHD, when I hyper focus on something, I am zoned in, okay? 2024 has been a little bit of a doozy. Throwing myself into a book has definitely kept me sane this year. So, I mean, I guess the 109 books kind of makes sense. And honestly, is that really far-fetched? There's 365 days in a year. What is 109 books really? Let's be for real. Out of the 109 books that I've read this year, these are my top 10 in no particular order. And also, I do promise that when I tell y'all about these books, there aren't going to be any spoilers. Any information that I give y'all about these books is solely going to be coming from the blurb itself, okay? So no worries, no spoilers. And if you've been following me for a minute, whether it be here on YouTube or on TikTok, y'all know I am a big mood reader, okay? The stack that I'm getting ready to show you is a little bit of everything. Let's go ahead and start. First book here, we have Pen Pal by J.T. G Singer, I think is how you pronounce the last name. This book was everything that I did not expect, okay? Going into this book, I was definitely expecting like a dark romance. Now, granted, it does have like a little bit of dark undertone. And when I say dark, I'm referring to like psychological. This one was more of a psychological suspense mystery type of book. The cover gives dark romance, but I promise y'all it's not really that. If you refer to like the psychological aspect of things, like, you know, your mind being a little bit played with throughout the book, then I can understand it. But it wasn't given dark romance like how most people think dark romance books go. So I'll start there. So if you're afraid of dark romance, I would still say give this a go because it's not giving that. I rated this book 5 stars when I read it. This is actually one of the books I read during spooky season, okay? So just imagine your husband ends up passing away, right? You leave the funeral, you come home, there's a letter sitting on your kitchen table from an inmate that you've never seen, you've never spoken to, you've never heard of, but he's telling you he's gonna wait for you forever. He's gonna wait for you forever. It doesn't matter how long it takes, he will wait for you because he knows you are the end game, you are the end goal, okay? Now, if that doesn't sound creepy enough, I'm just going to say that and I'm going to leave it there. Reason being is this is definitely a book that you should go in blind. If I tell you any more than that, I will literally ruin the entire storyline, the entire plot. And I don't want to do that for y'all because what you think you're getting into when you read this book, I promise you, it's not what you think. It is not what you think. The ending of this book took me for a ride, y'all. Like, I was so thrown, flabbergasted, taken aback. What? JT did the big one with this one here. I'm not gonna hold you, y'all. Definitely get into it. If you're somebody that likes psychological thrillers, if you like suspense, if you like paranormal activity, things of that nature, give this a go, because this was movie worthy, honestly. My only negatives about this book was the pet names that they had for each other, because it has some spicy scenes in here, but like the pet names was just weird. That was weird. But outside of that, definitely a good time, definitely a good read. Next up, we have Blood Orange by Karina Helly. I don't know how to pronounce her last name either, babes. Either way it goes, this is another book that I read during spooky season and literally became one of my favorite books of all time. I love this book so much, y'all. This is actually the first book in the duology. The second one is called Black Rose. Yes, Black Rose. Y'all, these books were so good, y'all. Quick synopsis, no spoilers, of course. Just imagine that you have a little sneaky link, okay? Y'all just parading around town, you know, just having the time of your life, enjoying this love that you both have for each other. You just so happen to be, dare I say, rich, while the person that you're into just happens to be, you know, not rich. But the love that y'all have for each other is just so genuine, so pure, you just can't get enough, right? One day you go to meet up, it's just like any other day. And as you're making your plans to run away together, you get caught by your father, who just happens to be a royal king of some sort, right? In the midst of you getting caught, they are holding your lover hostage. And because your father is so diabolical, he unalives you in front of your lover. Why would you do that, sir? The kicker behind all of this is your lover is a vampire. How did we get here, do you ask? The day that all of this takes place is the day that he's turning. And all of this is on the blurb, y'all. He was not aware that he was a vampire. He was very much human while they were in their relationship, but it just so happened that this tragic day was the same day that he turns. So not only does he witness his lover being unalived by her own father for dealing with a peasant, but this is also the day that he's turning into a vampire. And if you know anything about vampire stories, they live eternally. So now he has to live with the fact that his lover has been killed for infinity and beyond. If you thought that was it, you were wrong. Centuries later down the line, his lover ends up coming back, but she's not who she used to be. She has a new name, a new face, new identity. She's literally a different person entirely. But this time, she's back as a witch. And in this particular universe, witches kill vampires. So you only know how this story is about to go. This was so good, y'all. Like, the love story between the two characters literally pulled at my heartstrings. If you're somebody that likes anything pertaining to vampires, if you're somebody that's kind of big into spirituality, so the reincarnation, y'all, the storyline, the plot, the characters, the love story, the ending of this book, y'all. The way I love this book is just actually unhinged, and I really just hate the fact that this duology is not being talked about enough in the book community. Like, this book was just so good. The love story, y'all, the love story, I cannot emphasize this enough. The kind of love that was in this book, that's the kind of love I strive for, okay? Just chef fucking kiss. I won't lie to you, it's not a dark romance, so to speak, but there is some dark undertones in here. It can get a little gory because a lot of the some of the things that take place is very descriptive. And I mean, come on, it's a vampire story. Let's be so fucking for real. So yes, if you're into dark gothic academia, if you're into spirituality, reincarnation, vampires, things of that nature, definitely give this duology a go. You will not be disappointed. The next book on our list is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. And y'all, if you've been following me on both YouTube and TikTok, you already know how I'm coming behind Blake, bruh. You already know this right here is a book that I will recommend until the day that I die. I will stand on that hill. If you have not read Dark Matter, what are you doing for real? This book is so thought-provoking, life-changing. Like it's I just don't even have the words. This is a book that I always think about whenever I feel that I'm getting myself in a dark hole as far as like my mentality is concerned. I think about this here book right here. Quick synopsis. Just imagine one day, you know, you're walking down the street and you're just contemplating what you wish life could have been, what you wish life should have been. You know, you don't necessarily have regrets, but you know, just like regular humans, we always think, what if I went this route? What if I did this differently? What if I made this choice instead of this one? Where would my life be, right? Just imagine you just walking down the street, leaving the bar, on the way back home to your wife and your child, just to get knocked in the back of your head and you wake up to a gurney. To other people congratulating you, talking to you, clapping for you, saying how well you did, whatever the case may be. In this particular world, you are a celebrated genius because you created something that nobody has ever created before. In this world, the wife that you had previously, y'all aren't married. The son that you had previously doesn't even exist. So everything that you wanted to have once upon a time, you have now. But now that you have that, the life that you once knew no longer existed. What do? Do you stay in this particular reality where all of your dreams have come true and you're so successful, you have the money, you have the success, you have the glory? Or do you go back to your old reality where you were just a college professor, you had a wife and a child that you loved dearly, and you still had a decent life? You know, you still enjoyed that life. Like, you had a good life, you just always wanted more. What do you do? Where do you go? You know, this book was so thought-provoking because it literally leaves you thinking. Like, when you're done reading this book, it makes you think about every single choice that you've ever made in life. Even doing this video. What would have happened if I didn't do this video? Just the little choices that you make, the little things that you do literally sets off a domino effect in just everyday life. And I think we as a human race take that for granted because we don't allow ourselves to sit in the now and really just think about how far we've come and really just sit in gratitude for what we have accomplished thus far. We're always thinking about what we could have done different, or we're always thinking about what we could do better. But we're never really sitting in congratulating ourselves or celebrating ourselves in the moment where we are now. It just makes you think a lot. The twists and turns in this book is outrageous, y'all. Like, I can't get this book. This was such a good book. Get this book. And it's crazy because this actually falls under so many different genres. You have sci-fi, you have suspense, and you have a love story all mashed up into one book. Blake Crouch did his big one with this one, y'all. Okay? And if I remember correctly, if you're not really a reader for real, I think, is it on Apple TV? I don't have Apple TV, but there is a show called Dark Matter that Blake Crouch was working on. I believe it's already out. Get into that. I really want to watch it. I don't got Apple TV though. I might have to see if I can finesse that. But this is a good book, y'all. Definitely get into it. If you want to go into 2025 with a new mindset in all the things that you do, this would definitely be a good book to get started in. The next book that we have here is Outdrawn by Deanna Gray. So I actually read this one during Sapphic month, okay? Those that know me know I love a Sapphic story, baby. I love a Sapphic story. I don't care if it's MM, I don't care if it's FF. I'm gonna eat it up every time because, I mean, I resonate with the characters, you feel me? As a bisexual woman, I ate this book up. I was able to relate to both of the girls in this book. Like, this book was just so fun. It was fun, it was cute, it got a little spicy, but it's definitely a slow burn too. So Noah is a very talented artist, and she's finally got like her dream job to go work for this comic company, I believe. Yeah, they do comics and things like that. So she finally got an offer going to work for this company, and she's basically trying to build herself up in said company, okay? But she runs into her arch nemesis. They went to school together. Her arch nemesis, what was her name? Sage Montgomery. Sage is the artiste, okay? Like, she is the top notch in the building. She was even that good in school. She is just the bee's knees when it comes to, you know, doing art, doing drawing, or whatever the case may be. She was promised full control over this particular comic that they're coming out with in the book, right? But once Noah gets there, now they want them to work together because Noah is just as good as Sage is. Hence, the rivals to lovers romance, okay? So this was very, very cute, very cutesy, very demure, all right? This was the epitome of enemies to lovers, okay? Like, they literally despised each other throughout the book. They don't want to work together, for one. They don't want to have to do that. They don't get along. They're always bickering, always arguing. The banter in this book is definitely A1. But of course, it's enemies to lovers. So you know how this storyline is gonna go, right? But when I tell y'all I ate this book up, I was literally giggling, kicking my goddamn feet, y'all. I had such a good time with this book. And then, I mean, come on, look at this cover, y'all. This cover fucking eats, bro. I loved this book, okay? So if you're into FF romances, Sapphic romances, enemy to lovers, it has minimal spice, but the spice do be spicing. And this is a bit of a slow burn. So it does, like, their banter, their banter is like real deal Holyfield, okay? Like, it's not one of those fake enemies to lovers where, oh God, like they hate each other, but literally in chapter 10, they're together already. No, this is a slow burn. The enemies, they are enemies for a good minute throughout this book before things starts transitioning. So it's a lot of build up, a lot of ink. So when it finally happens, you like, woo! You know what I'm saying? So yes, I definitely loved this book. Definitely one of my faves of 2024. The next book on my list, y'all, and I know some people gonna feel away, but honestly, I don't care. I am talking about Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Baby, when I tell you I ate this book up, oh my God, y'all. When I started reading this on TikTok, the girlies on TikTok was having a time. They were having a field day with the reactions and things that I was supposed to. Speaking of which, if you want to check out my reading vlog, there you go. Go watch it, have a good time, giggle, laugh, because baby, I was showing my ass. Either way it goes, I loved this book. This was actually my entry into fantasy. This was my very first fantasy read. So if you aren't really a fantasy girly or guy, if you don't really know where to start as far as fantasy is concerned, I would definitely suggest starting Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing was very easy to read. It was fast paced. It was very intriguing. All in all, this was a great book, a great storyline, a great plot, all of the things. I can't even talk about this book without rambling, so I'm just not even going to try, okay? Just know that it's about a war college. They go to, it's a school, y'all. I can't. There's a war college, there's dragons, there's quadrants, there's people, like, y'all, it was good. That's all I got. I ate this one up. The second one in this series is Iron Flame. I ate that one up too. And then the third book is actually getting to drop next month, y'all. I cannot wait. I think it's Onyx Storm. I can't wait, y'all. Oh my God, I cannot wait to get that book in my hands. This was so good, y'all. This was a really, really, really good time. The way that I got attached to these characters, the dragons included, I would recommend this book to the day I die. I don't care. I don't care. Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. This was my entry into fantasy, y'all, and I've been hooked ever since, okay? You can't even get me out of the fantasy world if you wanted to. I'm officially a fantasy girly, okay? Definitely one of my favorite reads of 2024. Which brings me to the third book, which is a dark romantasy. So if you don't know what that is, that's dark romance that is thrown into fantasy, okay? So this is The Dragon's Keeper by Emma Burns. This is actually the second book in the Keeper series. The first one is The Hourglass Keeper, and she just dropped a third book, which is The Keeper's Moon, that just came out December 1st, actually. This is the second book in the series, and this is my favorite. Oh, y'all, this is my favorite book in the series. I might be lying. The Keeper's Moon is definitely a fave right now too, but The Keeper's Moon is a novella, so I'm trying not to count that one. But The Dragon's Keeper was definitely my favorite book in this series, y'all. Just to give y'all a synopsis of what this series is about, of course I would have to tell you what the first one is about, because the second one would be a spoiler. So you have Azahara. Azahara is one of like the fairest women in the land, I'll say that. She's a very beautiful girl, very, you know, charismatic. She finds herself in a bit of a pickle. Her and her two sisters go to like this little ancient ruin or whatever, I can't really remember, but they end up going in there, and there's this hourglass that's in there, and let's just say the hourglass ends up getting flipped. What they were not aware of is the hourglass was actually holding a god captive, okay? And this god is just not the type of god that you would want, essentially. He is a tyrant. He is literally he is literally one of my most hated characters in a book. He's like number one. Out of all the books that I've read, I have like two other ones, but out of all the books I've read, Godric is definitely like the number one hated character that I've ever read on paper, y'all. God, I hate Godric. He basically gives her an ultimatum. Either you gonna be with me for infinity, or that's it, that's all. Of course, she stands her ground and she's like, boy, bye. Like, no, I am my own woman. You do not own me, and you will never own me. Please get out my face. So because of that, he ends up cursing her, okay? He curses her, and from this moment on, she literally has to relive her life over and 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 over.
1 hour later.
And over again. Meaning she only lives for 1 year, and she dies at the end of every single year, just to start her life over all over again, with no memories, no recollection of whatever transpired in the previous year. She's literally doing this over and over again for centuries, all because she will not be with this god. Y'all. That's just the plot. That's not even the subplot. There's so many other things that transpire in this series, it don't make no type of sense, y'all. That is just the main plot, okay? But the subplots within this book just make it all just come together and make it worth it. Like, the character, y'all, I can't even talk without rambling. This book was just so good. The reason why Dragon's Keeper is one of my favorites is because this one, I'm not gonna hold you. Like I told you, I am a dark romance girly. This one is a little bit darker than the first. I'm not gonna tell you why, because it will be spoilers. But at the same time, this book was so healing. It was so therapeutic. Watching the character development in this book, watching the characters get closer and get closure and all of the things, like, it was just so good. Oh God, it was so good, y'all. Like, this book pulled at my heartstrings, and I loved every bit of it. The characters in these books, y'all. One of my favorite characters, I can't say the name because it'll be a huge spoiler for this book and also for The Keeper's Moon. So I'm not gonna say his name, but he is literally one of my favorite MMCs ever written on paper, okay? Like, y'all know I stand for these men, but y'all know I love these women, okay? Very rare will a man get that type of respect from me. But that man right there, okay? That's a man. That is the definition of what a man should be. Outside of that, one of my other favorite characters is Zal, and it's just so funny because the author, I was joking around calling myself Zal, but the author definitely like has nicknamed me Zal. Zal is a lesbian woman, and she is a warrior, and she's also one of Azahara's protectors. And when I tell y'all, I love me some Zal. Zal is, let me say something. I am her and she is me, okay? I didn't earn that nickname for no reason, y'all. Just know that. Know that. If you ever get into this series and you see about Big Zal, know it's Big Zal, not the little one. And make sure you put my face right beside her name every time you read. I say all that to say, if you're somebody that loves dark romantasy, if you're somebody that loves why choose, because this is definitely a heavy why choose trope, if you're somebody that loves reverse harem, if you're somebody that loves your women in the book strong, like they don't bow down, they stand up, get into this, okay? You have gods, you have fairies, you have elves, you have magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so much in this book, so many subplots in this book. It's just so good, y'all. The series is so good. I do want to give a disclaimer. Because I want you to be aware of what you're going into. Definitely read your trigger warnings when you get into this book. Also, understand that this is written in third person. I know some people do struggle with third person. I am one of those people. So if you are someone that struggles with third person, when you go into the first book, just take your time, okay? Just give it a chance. Give it a chance, okay? It might be a little confusing in the beginning, but the more you go through it, the better it will get, okay? I promise you. Ate It Up. One of my favorite books in 2024. The next book that we have on the list, I'm already laughing because this is so funny. We have Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. Y'all, the way I ate this book up, okay? And I literally, oh, my little note fell out. I literally just read this book last month, okay? I got into this book last month and I actually listened to the Audible. I highly suggest if you get into Lights Out, listen to the Audible, please, okay? Please listen to the Audible. And even if you want to tandem read, you can listen to the Audible and read at the same time if you want to download on your Kindle or if you want to get the hard copy. But I promise you, the Audible will make the experience 10 times better. Like, it's already a fun read, but the Audible just adds that extra spice on top. You know what I'm saying? That little extra seasoning on top. I promise you, y'all. I promise you, I'm not gonna lead you astray. This book was so good, y'all. It's so funny. So, this is a dark romance, y'all. However, because I know some people aren't big on dark romance, this is a dark romance that's a little bit on the lighter side, okay? So it's not the morally black characters. This is more so morally gray. And not only is it morally gray, but it's more of a rom-com. So it's funny, okay? A dark romance book that's funny, okay? This is for my dark humor girlies. My dark humor girlies and guys, I promise you, you will eat this up, okay? No, I'm mentioning a whole lot of darkness, but the darkness within this book is more so sexual kinks, okay? So people that are kind of into like masked men, or you know, you might be into BDSM. People that don't like vanilla sex. Let me just say that. People that don't like vanilla. That's basically what this is about. These are two people that are kind of finding they have different kinks that they really, really enjoy, and they don't have anybody to share these kinks with, okay? So they essentially find each other and love is made, literally. Now, although there is some spice in this book, the plot in this book is actually really, really good as well. This is a story, okay? It's just not a book full of spice. This is a story. And boy, is it a good time. Now, Josh might start out as like a stalker or whatever, like, you know, no big deal. He might start off as a stalker, but he's like the most thoughtful stalker that you ever would meet, that you ever would know. You know what I'm saying? Literally sneaks into her house and makes sure she has food, you know, and then he realizes that she doesn't have any security measures set up around her house. So he orders her security measures, like security cameras and alarms and things of that nature, just to make sure she's safe. You know, she also works a hard shift at work one day, and then he's watching. I mean, you know, it is kind of creepy. He's watching her on the work cameras. You know, that might be a little creepy. But either way it goes, he see how tired she is. So when it's time for her to get off, he's already in the car, waiting to drive her home. You know, I mean, he may have broke into the car or whatever, but he knew she was tired. So he just came to make sure she made it home safely so she could go to sleep. That's it. That's all. You know, like it sounds a little stalkerish, but like it's a stalker with good intentions, okay? Y'all, this book was really funny, okay? Like, I know I'm talking about some dark stuff, just some of the things that I read off the blurb and some of the things that I'm saying, but this could literally be a movie that you would watch and you would literally laugh at. That's how funny it was. Like, you can't take dark romance seriously for real, okay? So this is definitely for my dark humored people. If you like to laugh at dark things, if you enjoy dark romance in general, if you just like to laugh, you know, definitely get into this, y'all. It was a good time. One of my favorite reads of 2024. The next book that I have on my list is 1201 by Bella J. Y'all ate this book up, okay? Revenge is sweet, but it's even sweeter when it's with your exes, brother. Like the tea, the drama that's in this book. Just imagine, this is your wedding day. This is your wedding day. You're getting ready to walk down the aisle only to see that your soon-to-be husband is making out with his cousin. Now, granted, it's not his blood cousin. This is a childhood person that he grew up with, but he calls her his cousin. So on your wedding day, you're witnessing your soon-to-be husband making out with somebody that has been a family friend for years at a time. So what do? You leave him at the altar, right? Just to later find out a couple of months later that he's getting ready to get married to the same person he was cheating on you with at your wedding. So what do? You crash the wedding. And then after crashing the wedding, you get with his twin brother. Baby, what? All of this is on the blurb, baby. This is not a spoiler, but when I tell y'all this book ate down, okay? It does have some spicy scenes in here too. I'm not gonna hold you, okay? But the spice was spicing, baby. Great book, y'all. Like the drama in this book, the drama in this book, y'all. The love story in this book, and this also was like a enemies to lovers, or was it enemies to lovers? Yeah, her and the twin brother didn't initially like each other, but I promise you, they like each other now. I'm sorry. I had to adjust because my foot, okay, I think that's fine. I apologize, y'all. I had to adjust. My foot started to hurt. I had to situate, you know, myself or whatever. But we only got 2 more books left, so let's go ahead and get into it. These 2 books I actually don't have on hand, so I'm gonna just make sure that I stick the picture of it up in the corner. The first book is Evidence of the Affair. I believe this is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book was like literally 80 something pages long, not that long at all. I flew through this book, breezed through it. Just imagine you just living your everyday life and you end up receiving a letter in the mail that's telling you that your significant other is cheating on you with their significant other. If you don't understand, let me break it down for you again, okay? Let's say I write you a letter, okay, subscriber. I write you a letter, okay? I am married to my significant other. You, said subscriber, are married to your significant other. I write you a letter and let you know that I just recently found out that your significant other and my significant other are having an affair with each other. Yes. What interests me about this book is the entire book was written in letter format. I love that. I've never read a book like this before in my life. I've never seen a book like this before in my life. And I believe I read this. When did I read this? Let's look on Goodreads real quick. Okay, I actually read this book back in May. Yes, May of this year is when I found this book and I read it. And I was just looking for something really quick to get into. And boy, did I have a good time with this book, y'all. This was, yeah, it was literally only 88 pages long, okay? But I ate it up. So if you're looking for like a palate cleanser, this will be a great book to read. Now, clearly, if you're not into the cheating trope, then this probably wouldn't be for you. But either way it goes, this book was very different, okay? So like I said, The book is written in letter formats. Basically, again, I'll use us as an example. It's me and subscribers just writing each other back and forth, letting each other know what's going on. You know, I put you on game and let you know, hey, my person and your person got whatever they got going on, like what we about to do. You know what I'm saying? We would coordinate schedules like, okay, well, my person said they're getting ready to go on this trip. And is your person going on a trip at this time? Yes, my person's going on a trip at this time too. What are we going to do about this? Are we going to confront them? Are we going to let it be? Like, how are we going to go about this? You know? So it's a very interesting read. And it was also written back in the day. Because, I mean, clearly, you know, they don't have cell phones and things like that. Can't remember the time frame that this storyline was set in. But clearly, I mean, they didn't have cell phones or anything from what I could see. Just based off of the fact that they're writing each other letters. But I don't know. I can't remember. But I found this story very, very intriguing. And because it was so different, I had to rate it 5 stars. It was something I've never read before. I've never seen a style of book written like this. And Taylor Jenkins Reid actually does a really good job writing in general. Like, she's very, very good with her pen and her pencil and her keyboards, okay? It was very easy to read, very fast paced, and it kept you intrigued from beginning to end. And then speaking of the ending even has a plot twist, y'all. Like, I was not expecting it. I should have expected it, but the way that the story was going as far as the letters are concerned, I kept second guessing myself. I should have expected how the ending was flowing, but it was such a good read, y'all. It was such a good read. It was such a good read. I definitely highly suggest reading it if you're just looking for something quick to get through, or if you just kind of want the tea, you know what I mean? You like into these little drama type situations. This is a really good book to get into, y'all. Definitely one of my favorites of 2024. Last but not least, y'all, and y'all gonna laugh at me, but it is what it is, because I be talking so much trash because I love a book that has character development. I love a book that has plot. I love a book that has some type of substance in it. You know, you gotta have the meat with the potatoes. You know what I'm saying? But this book that I'm about to tell y'all about has literally none of the above, okay? This was really just a spicy read. It was really just a book that was just intriguing for me personally. It had the potential to kind of flow with the storyline, but the storyline really wasn't much of anything. But I ate this book up, y'all, and maybe it's the gay side of me that's speaking, I don't know. But the book I'm referring to is Femme Fatale by Ruby Smoke. And essentially this book follows this, I can't remember the girl's name, but is it 2 different girls? I think it's 2 different girls. It goes back and forth between 2 different POVs. In the start of it, one of the girls, she's in this relationship with this guy, and you know, they're being intimate, and he just never does it for her. Like, he's rude. He doesn't really care about her feelings. He doesn't really care about, you know, sexy time, you know, trying to make sure she's taken care of. It's just a bad relationship just through and through. And they end up breaking up, and she's trying to figure out her life, like where she's gonna go, what she's gonna do from this point on. And she finds out about this job where it's a club. It's a club. I guess a brothel, if you will, so to speak, is what it is. And she's like, well, you know, I'm gonna go over here and see what they talking about. What she is unaware of is the owner of said brothel is actually a succubus, which is why her business is doing so well. But she is very protective over women, and she's very protective over the women that stay or work with her. She does not play about her girls, okay? I guess you can refer to her as a madam. She does not play when it comes to her girls, okay? She will unalive anybody behind anybody that's up under her name, up under her umbrella. So I really did enjoy that aspect of things too. Essentially, you know, she's been a succubus for however long, because, you know, I don't know if they die. I don't know if they're able to die. But either way it goes, she ends up falling for 2 of these girls that now works with her. And it just goes from there, okay? It's like a little mini love story, but it's full of spice. It's full of lust. It's full of like women taking back their power, owning their sexuality, owning who they are, being comfortable doing the things that they like to do as far as kinks are concerned, or just in general, you know what I mean? Because, you know, society really likes to try to put women down when it comes to their sexuality, their wants, their needs, their kinks, and all of the things. Like, how dare you have those type of anything? But it's okay for men. We already know how this goes, so I don't even have to get into all of that. But that's essentially, I think that's kind of why I like the book. Although the book really didn't have like a full-blown plot for real, I think just because I'm a woman and I stand for women, you know, and I love me a Sapphic FF type of situation, on top of the spice, on top of the protection and the embodiment of like power that she held throughout the book, I ate it up. I ate it up. This was not a long book at all, y'all. I can't remember. I think it was maybe like 100 something pages. It wasn't a long book at all, but this was definitely one of my favorite books of 2024, which is crazy to say, because that compared to everything else that's here is just like, Jessica, really? You know, but I really and truly enjoyed that book. So I had to add it to my list, because I would be lying to myself. And you already know one thing I'm not going to do is lie to myself. And if I'm gonna come on here on this camera and talk about anything, whether it's book, spirituality, my regular life, I'm gonna always give y'all the real. So if you decide to read it and you hate it, don't judge me, okay? If you decide to read it and you enjoy it, but you still looking at me sideways like, girl, don't judge me, okay? Like, it just is what it is. Y'all love me for who I am. Don't switch up. With all that being said, y'all, that is the end of this video. That is my top 10 fave books of 2024. I am very excited to see what 2025 is going to hold for me, because I already got a good bit of books for my birthday that I haven't even read yet, that I just know is going to be high on my list for 2025. There's still books on my shelf that I haven't gotten into that I know is going to be high on my list. There's books that's going to be dropping next year that I just know is going to be high on my list. So I just genuinely cannot wait to start my reading goals and things of that nature in the upcoming weeks. But okay, y'all, that is it. That is all. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are still enjoying yourself as far as all of my Vlogmas content is concerned. I will catch you in the next one. I love you so much. Okay, bye.